Peace and abundance be unto you all. I am Solana Soul, bringing light into the world through soulful conversations. Welcome to my channel and thank you for listening. Make sure you follow me over on TikTok and leave a comment below of your thoughts throughout the podcast. If there's anything that sparks in your brain and you want to leave your input, definitely drop it down below in the comments. And be sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications. I upload every Sunday and every Wednesday. Tap in. So y'all, I want to get into just unpacking the whole journey of healing as a woman who has been through trauma, and not just childhood trauma, but trauma from relationships, friendship trauma, and relationships with men. Things like this. This is something we have to talk about, especially when it comes to healing, because a lot of us are pacifying our wounds instead of applying pressure and truly getting the right procedure done to what needs to be healed. So here's some advice for the young ladies that are listening. Don't use men or sex to pacify your wounds. As you are coming out of a relationship and you are in that in-between stage, or if you're in a stage where you have a situationship, this is where you truly come face to face with yourself. And you have to ask yourself, what are your intentions for being with someone? Are you using them to pacify what you truly feel within yourself? Are you running away from something? What is your sex life with this person doing for you? And this is a question that is extremely important because it will open your eyes if you're courageous enough to look within yourself and to not run away from the darkness on the inside of you. Because in order for light to be shined on the inside of you, you have to go and confront the darkness. If you want peace and you want joy and happiness, then we have to confront the darkness that is in us. So yes, that means that part that is in you that went through that traumatic situation when you were a child, you have to confront that. Because that is the reason you make the decisions that you make today. That is the reason that you have made the decisions that you've made that have caused you even more pain. So don't pacify that pain with a man. And it's more than just in the physical, the sexual. We can pacify by just being on the phone with men sometimes. It just feels good for us to have a man around. That's us pacifying. If you want real peace, real love, joy, if you want your life to be enjoyed, and you want to experience a new level of peace and faith and hope, then the work has to be done. Because as you change from the inside out, then everything begins to change. Your perspective begins to change as you uproot everything that is in you and you submit yourself to truth. It's easier to run away from what we know is the reality of our situation, or the reality of like where we are. And we have to learn to navigate our own beings. Because whether we want to admit it or not, we've all been the villain in someone else's story. And as we're healing, we're going to have to confront that reality. Yeah, maybe at certain times we were the victim, but there were plenty of times that we also were the villain. And so we have to confront that bad character, those toxic traits, toxic habits, and thought processes. How do we view the world? Is there any cynicism in us? Because, yeah, we should all have a small percentage of cynicism towards the world because we can never be too trusting. But is your cynicism so high and it has you on such high alert that you reject a good thing? That you can't make friends and you can't cultivate proper relationships because you're not trusting of anyone ever? We have to get to the bottom of this thing that we call life. We have to confront ourselves and face the reality of where we are. Many people run from themselves because it's easy to go out and drink it away. It's easy to go and sex it away. It's easy to work it away. You work at all times of the night, doing a lot of overtime because it's easier than going home or closing your computer and getting in bed and realizing that you are who you are and that you are the reason that you are exactly where you are. Be it physically, mentally, emotionally, whatever. Taking accountability is extremely hard. I understand that, but it's important. I haven't been the first person to take accountability, and it wasn't exactly easy for me either. But I also realized once I began to define the life that I wanted and what I wanted my life to look like, I learned that, okay, wow, now I have to confront the me that I've been this whole time. Because if my life doesn't look like what I desire, if my relationships, platonic and otherwise, don't reflect the life that I desire, the connections that I desire, then this is all on me. I haven't been the person that I needed to be to show up for those things to attract themselves to me. I haven't been the woman that is needed to show up in the marriage that I desire. I haven't been the woman that is needed to show up in this business situation that I desire. I have had to realize I am where I am because of myself and my own decisions. And a lot of it can be attributed to a lack of healing. And I've had to face some serious demons in this last season. Going through a divorce a year ago, having to face single motherhood, having to do the introspection and the self-reflection to figure out, well, how did I end up in a relationship with a narcissist? Where was I mentally? And more importantly, where was I spiritually? That I was able to attract and accept a narcissist in. Where was I at in my stage of healing and growth and belief and faith in God that I didn't wait on him? What was I doing? You have to approach healing in a way that gives you the freedom that you need to confront everything about yourself. We don't like to go into the dark places of our heart where we may have a little anger, and sometimes it's not even a little, it's a lot. Impatience. We lack kindness. Some of us are hateful. Some of us are just rude and mean. There's a lot of different character traits that a lot of us have that have a lot of work to be done. Insecure. We lack identity. We don't know who we are. Sometimes we don't know how to say things to people. We don't know how to talk to people. Whatever it is, a lot of us don't want to address the issue at hand because accountability hurts, if I'm being honest. It's like a dagger. And I can remember all the days where when I was married and I would hear women speaking truth about marriage, and they would say, women, you should, maybe you shouldn't do like this to your husband. And I remember just feeling so vexed. And I'd be like, I really don't want to hear that right now, actually. I'd rather continue living in the reality that I live in because I far more profit in the area that I'm in right now than if I were to actually approach myself and hold myself accountable and change. Because accountability hurts. It doesn't feel good to know that you haven't been the best person in the world. It doesn't feel good to know that you've hurt people. It doesn't feel good to know that you've just had this negative impact. And that doesn't make you a bad person because the bad people aren't receptive to change. The true evil ones, the wicked ones, and those that don't care, the people who perpetuate wickedness in the world, they don't listen to podcasts for change positively. They don't listen to things that are going to help them grow. So no, if you're listening, you're not a bad person. You've had bad things happen to you. And as a result, you've done bad things in the world. But if you're seeking for change and for growth, you are exactly where you're supposed to be. So I pray that you would continue your journey and that you would go full speed towards the life that you desire. Don't pacify your wounds. Don't think that it's too dark for you to let God in, because that is exactly where the Most High wants to come into your life. He wants to shine his light into your darkness. Have conversations with the Most High. And they don't have to be eloquent prayers. I mistook my journey in the beginning and I thought I had to pray these long, unnecessary prayers when I literally could just have a conversation with the Most High. And I had no idea until I started doing it more. And then I started seeing change in myself and in my life and in the people around me. And I realized, okay, I don't have to sit here and pray like other people pray. I can pray like how I pray, and that's just fine. So let God into your darkness. And as you let him into your darkness, you will begin to be transformed as you are also receptive of the change, and as you are accepting and receptive of the truth. The one thing that truth will do, one of many that truth will do, is it will change your mind if you agree with it. Because we can reject truth. A lot of people reject truth every day because living in their reality is just comfortable. It's so much more comfortable to live in a reality that seems true to you. So I say, hey, face your reality today. Attack and confront that sickness that is on the inside. And do the work. It's hard, it's dark, but it pays off. As you heal, you start to grow a deep compassion for yourself and even for those that have hurt you. This compassion grows over time because you realize you were just either young or You lacked wisdom and nobody taught you a thing. If you chose the wrong man, maybe you were never introduced to what love really looked like. And if you're growing compassion for yourself, and it's because something happened to you when you were younger and you realize it was out of your control. But either way, you start to love yourself more. You start to look at yourself as more worthy. You start to accept new truths and new beliefs about yourself. And so you throw away those old beliefs and those old ways of thought because they're no longer applicable to who you are. So continue to grow, continue to change, continue to press forward, and know every day will not be perfect. Some days you are going to do the bare minimum, and some days you'll barely get the bare minimum done. But be consistent in choosing your higher self. Be consistent in choosing God's will for your life and His purpose. Be in pursuit of Him for peace. Be in pursuit of Him for joy. Because only in Him will all of those things last for you. So I wish you well. I pray for immense healing, growth, a deepening of your understanding of self, of God, of life, of love. Remember that you are loved, you are appreciated, you are wanted, you are desired. Thank you for listening. I pray that you would have a beautiful rest of 2023, a beautiful rest of this month, and may the Most High be with you. Shalom.